Hi everybody, it is Monday morning and I'm working on my shipping, so I thought this would be a good time to do a video for you guys about international shipping. I have a couple items that are going out international, so I wanted to go ahead and do that because I have had some of you ask about how to do your own international shipping. So I'm just going to kind of go through the process and talk you through it, share my screen with you so you can see how it all works and how easy it is. But in the past, I've talked about removing all obstacles, and one of those things is doing your own international shipping. I totally get it. It seems scary and overwhelming. When I started a little over 2 years ago, I was confused by it and overwhelmed. Like, it just, for whatever reason, it's like you have no information about it or no knowledge of it. It just seems like it's going to be hard and you're going to mess up and somehow you're going to end up like spending way more than what you charge, or, for whatever reason, like I remember being in that spot and not knowing what I was doing. And so at the time I actually signed up for the global shipping program. And if I remember correctly, I think I was only in that program for like a week before I decided to take the plunge and actually do my own international shipping. And as soon as I did it, the first international order that I shipped out, I realized like how ridiculously easy it is, and the fact that I was like worried about it and overwhelmed, I realized it was kind of silly, but I get it because I was there. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys, so hopefully you are not as worried about it. I know there's a lot of worry about things getting lost, about stuff, getting damaged, or, just, it's like you're worried that you're going to send something out and then suddenly you're going to be out a couple $100s or whatever it is. Really there's not really any more risk sending things internationally than there is domestically for the most part. Sure, there's some countries that maybe aren't as reliable as far as showing that things are delivered. There's some countries where they don't have any kind of delivery confirmation at all. But when I send my stuff out, I actually don't restrict any countries. I will do my own international shipping for any country worldwide. The way I see it, it's along the same philosophy of remove all obstacles. The more doors you open, the more sales you're going to be able to make. And so you have to look at the big picture. You can't be too focused on each individual transaction, because the more available you make your stuff to an entire world full of potential buyers, the more sales you're going to get. I have been doing this for a little over 2 years, and I would say it's hard to get the numbers because some of that stuff's kind of hard to find on eBay, but I would say I've done at least well over like 200 international sales. So let's say I've done roughly $10,000 in international sales, because my average is like around $45 an item as far as sales price. So around $10,000 in international sales. I can tell you, as far as problem transactions have gone, I've had a handful. The majority of them I've been able to resolve with a little bit of work. I would say maybe I've had 2 or 3 where I was completely out of luck and I maybe lost around $200 to $300 total. So think about it. That's $10,000 in sales. Let's say I've lost $300 due to items, let's say, being lost. And not being able to recover them, and then I'm liable for that, and I have to do a full refund to my buyer. So now I could take those few times that that's happened, and I could freak out, and I could say, okay, I'm going to restrict this country, this country, this country. I am going to go through the global shipping program. I'm going to do all these things to kind of like protect myself from having that happen again. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to have less sales. You're going to have less buyers. You're going to close the door to some buyers to be able to purchase from you. And so let's say I did that and I end up bringing the sales numbers down to, let's say, $7,000. So now I'm out $3,000 when before I was only out $300. So does that kind of make sense? I know I've heard like of some countries where people are really worried, like Brazil, for instance. I've sold a few times to Brazil and I've never had a problem there. So you really just have to look at it with some perspective and try not to get too scared or worried about the very few times when problems will come up. And And also, you know, you are running a business right now, so to expect that nothing bad can ever happen, or to have yourself in a position where one sale going wrong and you losing out on that money, if that's going to ruin your business, then you probably have some other things you need to be looking at, because you can't operate that way. If you're going to be a business owner, you need to allow for a small amount of shrinkage, and that means, like, you know, things getting lost. If you had a brick and mortar store, you'd have to worry about theft within the store, items getting damaged. I've talked about this before. I do think that there is a misconception or an unreasonable expectation that as an online seller, you shouldn't have any problems ever. You shouldn't have any returns. You should never have stuff get lost. You should never have any problem buyers. And anytime there is a single problem, that somehow is indicative of there being some sort of basic problem overall with how things are run, whether it's eBay or the post office. And you got to understand that nothing ever runs perfectly 100% of the time. And you have to have that stuff built into your costs. It is just the cost of doing business. And when you compare eBay and selling online to having your own brick and mortar store, you're going to have far less instances of things getting lost, things getting stolen. So you really have to have a realistic expectation for how things are going to go. And just because you have a problem happen with one transaction, that does not mean the whole system is broken. Okay? So we are going to talk about international shipping. Now, you need to be weighing your items. It's important. I do all of my shipping domestically. I do free shipping, but it's especially important that you know the weight of your items when you're doing international sales, because when I show you how to set up your shipping policies, you're going to need to know how much stuff weighs. So the way I do it personally is when I'm taking pictures of my items, I then go and I do the measurements, and then while I do the measurements, I also weigh them. So what I have is I've got my scale. And I have this where I do my measurements, and then I actually put, I have a box that I put on my scale, right? And I tear it out at 0. And so what this does is when I measure something, then I toss it in there. So like I sold, one of the things I'm shipping out is this hat. So I'll put this hat in here, weigh it. This hat actually ended up being, it's under 8 ounces, even with shipping materials. And so I write that down. I've got my little notebook that I use that has my measurements. And it also has my weight. So when I do my listing, I'm able to put that weight in there. And this helps domestically and internationally because it's going to help you a lot in knowing which shipping policies to choose when you're doing your listing. It's going to help you have a better idea of what's going to cost you to ship it. And so when it comes to international stuff, you're going to be using calculated shipping rates because there are differences between like Canada and pretty much every other country in the world. And so it makes a difference as far as where it's going, as far as what the price is going to be. So weight is very important. And you also need to take into consideration what your packing materials are going to be. Most of my stuff I'm able to send in poly bags, and those I think are the best way to do it. Let's see, where do I have them? Got these poly bags. I get these with my shipping coupon I get every quarter. I like using these. Obviously, I do a lot of clothing, so it makes it really easy to send them out and stuff like this. This adds as little added weight as possible. I also have these bigger ones. I wish they had made them a little bit bigger for the eBay stuff, but this one fits most of my, like if I have a big jacket, I can send to this. And again, this adds very little weight, so I'm keeping the weight down as much as possible. Now the other thing with global shipping program, there's nothing wrong with using global shipping program. But you got to understand that it does add cost to your buyers in most cases, particularly looking at like Canada, for instance. A lot of Canadian buyers say they won't buy from any seller who uses the global shipping program. And the reason for that is because with the global shipping program, it automatically adds any like customs fees and things like that that get charged to the buyers. And the way the Canadian Postal Service works, I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that there are a lot of items that don't end up getting charged those fees if you were sending it directly to Canada. And that's depending on like the value and what it is. And so they aren't always charged that, but if it is shipped through the global shipping program, they are charged that 100% of the time. So it ends up adding a lot to their costs, which is why a lot of Canadians won't buy from someone who uses the global shipping program. And I sell quite a bit to Canada, so I would hate to use a shipping program that's going to cut down on those sales. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so I can kind of walk you through how you do international shipping, from setting up your shipping policies to creating a listing, to doing the actual shipping. And then I'll come back and I will show you the forms once they print out so you can see what it looks like compared to a regular label. All right. First, we're going to start by talking about your business policies. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this works for a seller who does not have a store. I think it's probably the same, but I couldn't tell you because I have a store. But really, with them having like the new starter store level now and the basic store level, you really should, if you want to be selling on eBay, have a store. You get a lot of added value, like being able to put on sales and having markdowns, and things like that, putting your store on vacation when you need to. So you should think about doing that. So as far as business policies go, it's under the listings tab in your seller hub. And if you go down here all the way to the bottom, it says business policies. You can click on that, and this will take you to your business policies. Now, if you've been selling on eBay for a while and you've never looked at your business policies, I think this is something that they changed or added like within the last few months, because it used to be that when I would create a listing, I would just pick, you could put into each listing like what it is that you are charging for shipping, blah, 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 blah. And you had like your defaults, but it wasn't quite the way it is now. And so when they put this up, it kind of automatically kind of put everything into the different categories for policies, shipping policies, return policy, payment. And so you might go onto this page and see this whole mess of like a million different shipping policies, and it might be all wonky, and you're going to have to take some time to go through and kind of clean that up. I know I had to do that, and it was a big mess, and it kind of was a nightmare a little bit, but once I finally got it all figured out, I actually love having these policies. And so you can see I have my return policy, which I'm doing the free returns. You have your payment policy. I have immediate pay because I am in the guaranteed shipping program. And then now for shipping policies, I have different policies because you have to have a different policy depending on what it is that you're doing. So for instance, I have a shipping policy that's just for my free first class. And so we can go ahead and look into that and see what it looks like. And so free shipping first class, this is for anything 16 ounces or lighter. This is how I do it. And I have, so this is free here, but then somebody, if they want to, they can pay an extra $6.95 and I will send it in a padded flat rate envelope. Or if they want to have the priority mail express, they can pay $22.95 and I'll put it in one of those padded flat rate express envelopes. And then I have, so my international shipping, this is where the shipping comes in. Now there's different options. You can do calculated, you can do flat. The reason you want to do calculated is because if you did flat, which is the same cost to all buyers, you would have to have a bunch more separate shipping policies. To me, the calculated is just the easiest way because you're doing it by weight, and that way just whatever weight you put into that particular listing, it'll automatically calculate that for you. So, and then of course the last option is no international shipping. So I always do calculated. I ship to worldwide. You are able to choose custom locations and exclude different countries. Again, I just do worldwide. And then I have first class mail international is the one that I choose. And you can do first class mail international up to 4 pounds. So again, this shipping policy is for anything under 16 ounces. So you would pick first class mail international. I don't do a handling cost. All right, let's see. And then you also have your handling time in this particular policy. So let's back out. And I have another shipping policy for my next step up, which this is everything that goes into a padded flat rate. And so again, free domestically. I have this separate because in this policy, it's already in a padded flat rate, but they can pay the extra $22.95 to get it priority mail express. Again, I'm shipping it worldwide. I'm doing calculated international shipping and I'm doing it first class mail international. Again, no handling costs. So that's how I have that one. And then I have past the padded flat rate. This next one is for anything that's over a pound. and but cannot fit in a padded flat rate. So this is going to be regular priority. I just put it as priority. Obviously, you could pick any different kinds of priority. You could pick a flat rate medium, you could pick flat rate large, but I just set it as priority mail. And that way, once I get into when I'm actually shipping something, I can look at what the different things will cost depending on the location. Like I'm in Nevada, if I'm mailing it to New York City, it's going to be a major cost difference than if I'm shipping it to California. New York, I might want to put in a medium flat rate if it'll fit. California, I'll just do straight priority because it's going to be pretty cheap because it's really close to me. And then again down here, this is going to be worldwide, first class mail international calculated. So it's pretty simple. Now this is where you do have to pay attention. I also have a different policy for when something is over 4 pounds because you can only ship first class international 4 pounds and under. So if you look at this one is free priority over 4 pounds. So it's the same domestically, like it doesn't make any difference domestically, but for worldwide, I have to have it on priority mail international because you can't do first class for anything over 4 pounds. Okay, so that's kind of what the shipping policies look like. It's really simple. It might seem a little overwhelming. Maybe you want to watch this video a couple times, or like at least in these parts where it explains these. But it really is pretty simple. You set up what, and especially when you have it calculated, as long as you're putting your weight into your listings, you don't ever have to worry about your buyer being undercharged for the cost of shipping, and you don't have to worry about you losing money. So that's why I say it's really key to weigh your items. Now I'm going to show you one of my listings. We're going to look at it like I was creating a new listing. These are these really cool Jaws special edition shoes. And so if you go down here, now this is where your shipping details are. So see, you're picking your policy. So like I only have one policy, which is PayPal Immediate Pay. I only have one shipping policy, which is free. Or sorry, I have different. It's my return policy. I just have free returns. So for my shipping policy, this is where it comes into play. You drop down and you look at which shipping policy you want. Do you want free shipping first class, free padded flat rate, free flat rate priority? Now, again, you create these policies, so you can name them whatever you want. This is just what I named them, free priority over 4 pounds. For this particular one, I think I had free flat rate priority. And the weight down here is 2 to 3 pounds. The way it breaks down is there's a cost difference between anything under 8 ounces, anything 8 ounces to 2 pounds, and then 2 to 3 pounds, and then 3 to 4 pounds, and so on and so forth. So it is really important. Like for instance, the hat that I'm shipping out that I showed you guys, that is at 8 ounces, so it's going to be a big cost difference than if it was 9 ounces for an international package. So anyway, so this is the way you want to set it up. And let me show you now. I'm just going to show you like what it looks like to somebody who is in another country wanting to potentially buy your item. So okay, somebody that's in the US looks at this, they see free expedited shipping. Now let's click on see details here. Now I'm going to change my country and I'm going to pick somewhere, let's see, let's try Australia. I sell some stuff to Australia. Australia. Now I'm going to hit get rates. Okay, so this is a 2 to 3 pound package. It is going to cost them $35 to buy these shoes just for their shipping costs. Now let's look at what it would be if it was Canada. Get rates. $25.25. So they save about $10. It's about $10 cheaper to ship to Canada than to ship to any other country. So you can see why there's like a big difference in price. And when you do your own international shipping, you are not charging them any of the customs fees or anything like that. And there is language that they do get a message from eBay that tells them they were responsible for their own customs fees. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to charge them that. Generally what happens is they have to like go pick it up and they have to pay for it or however it works in their country. And so it's not something that you have to worry about. And people who buy internationally, they know that they're responsible for those costs. All right, so that's what that looks like. Okay, now let's look at our orders. Okay, so here's my orders. I will show you let me show you what it looks like bulk, and then I'm going to actually go all the way through, and I'm going to ship it individually and go through the process there. But I don't know if you guys do bulk shipping, but you can just go over here, and if you hover over the little notification bell, you can actually go down where it says page ship now, 12 items need to be shipped. If you just click on that, it's going to automatically bring you up to bulk shipping. And so we're going to go ahead and hit that. It'll take a second here to load the page. All right, so you can see I have, these are all the things that need to be shipped out. I'm not sure why that's showing up red. Usually that doesn't. Oh, it looks like the name exceeds 40 characters. I'll have to fix that later. But you can see now that I have, since I have all my weights in here, you can see these are already on first class. This is just domestic stuff just to show you. It shows 8 ounces, so it says what the cost is. You can see that. And then the ones that are already set up to be padded flat rate, so it's already has the weight in there, the price. So do I have any that are not flat rate? Okay, here's one. I got a pair of shoes that are going to Pennsylvania. This is 4 to 5 pounds. I have it set on priority. It's 2040 if I want to ship it that way. And then this is where I would like look at, okay, maybe I can fit those in a medium flat rate box. I don't know, that would make it 1245. So I always like to play around with that. Anyway, all right, so that is how that works. Let's look at the international orders here. So I have one going to the United Kingdom and one going to Germany. Okay, so you can see this is a Stussy Cabby Newsboy cap. It's a vintage cap. I took a pretty low offer on it because it's got a lot of damage. So they paid $22. They paid $14 for shipping. It's 8 ounces. It's actually only going to cost you $11.97 to ship it with your shipping discounts if you have, I'm top rated seller plus. So I'm actually making an extra $2, not to mention the fact that this was free shipping in the US. So had I sold it in the US for this much, I'd also have to pay for shipping out of that. Great thing about doing your own international shipping is that they pay for it. And because of your discounts, you actually end up making a couple more dollars. So really it would have cost me $3.18 to ship that. So I would have ended up seeing about $19 of this. Now I'm seeing $24 of this. So that's another reason why it's great doing your own shipping. All right, so you see how this is red. Click on that. This is what pops up. First thing you need to do is you click on this box right here. I've read the shipping prohibitions and restrictions. You click on that. Next thing is description. It automatically populates this field with your title that you have in your listing. First of all, you don't need that whole thing in here. Second of all, you don't necessarily want the outside of your package to say exactly what's inside it. So what I do is I actually will change this and I just put men's hat. Okay, so I just do something really generic that says what's in it, but it's nothing too descriptive. And you see it already populates all these other things. It says what the value is, what the weight is, where it's coming from. You don't have to worry about any of this other stuff. See all these little spaces? Nothing. You don't have to do anything else. So really all you are doing is clicking on this box and changing your description. Then you hit here, save and close. And now that is done. So that's all you need to do when you're doing it in your bulk shipping. You finish everything out, you hit review and pay, and then you'll be able to print off your labels. Okay, so that's how bulk shipping works. Let's go back to, we're going to do it individually now. Okay, so one of the ones I sold is this this jersey. This is one of the jerseys I got at ASD. It's the first one to sell. I'm going to go ahead and hit print shipping label. And this is actually going to Germany. And they bought it for $49.99, which I'm really happy with. And then they also paid $23.50 for shipping. So $23.50, that's the price for anything that's over 8 ounces but under 2 pounds for most countries. Obviously, it's more like $15 for Canada. So they paid a total $73.49. Okay. This jersey weighs 15 ounces when I put it in one of my poly mailers. So it's going first class package international. You can see over here it's going to Germany. It's going to cost you $20.10 to ship this. Again, they paid $23.50. So in this case, it's an extra $3 plus they're paying for the shipping. If I had sold this in the US, I'd get the $50, and then I have to take $6.90 out of that in order to, or sorry, it's in this first class, so I would have to take what would be like between $4 and $5 to send this first class. But in this case, they're paying for shipping, and I'm making an extra $3 off of that. So it's definitely a good deal. So I just go here, I hit continue. Do, 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 do. All right, now I don't know what it's doing. Here we go. Oh, I forgot. So in this case, you hit continue, and then what it does, it takes you, you saw how I showed you on the bulk shipping. It looks a little bit different here, but the box is down here instead. And you're going to go up here, and I'll just change this to men's shirt. Okay. So again, all you're doing is checking a box. It's in a little bit of a different location than in the bulk shipping, but you just check a box and you change your description, and that's all you have to do. And now down here, I hit pay for shipping and print label. And again, you don't have to fill in any of these other fields. Okay, now it's coming up with the label. And so it's going to automatically put your label together. There's what it looks like. So you go ahead and you print this. I'm going to go ahead and print that. And let's go ahead and we're going to ship our next item. I'm going to go back to my list, and I'm actually going to do the hat as well. So we can just do this twice here. So I'm going to hit print shipping label. And this one's going to the UK. This one's, it's only 8 ounces. So they paid $14 for their shipping. Like I said, I'm paying $11.97. So again, I make an extra $2. It's 8 ounces. Let me just double check these. First class package international. That all looks good. Let me go ahead and hit continue. Well, wait a second. That window's going to pop up, and I'm going to need to again check the box, change this to men's hat. Remember, it's already pre-populated, the value, the weight, where it's coming from. And again, you don't need to fill out any of this other stuff. So you hit pay for shipping, print label. It's going to automatically do that. So basically back in the day, you used to have to actually by hand go and fill out these forms. You have to take them to the post office and fill out the forms. And I think a lot of people think that that's how it still works, but it really is this simple because the way it's set up through eBay, it automatically kind of populates everything for you. And it's pretty much the same thing with any of the other shipping programs that you use. So I'm going to go ahead and print this one as well. Now, some people do ask about insurance. For the most part, I don't use insurance, and the post office does not provide insurance for first class international. But there may be a time when, let's say, you're shipping something and it's something that maybe you paid a lot to buy. So you're kind of already into it for a lot, and maybe you're selling it at a high price and you're just kind of worried. Maybe it's going to a country that doesn't have delivery confirmation. Really, if you never ever spent any money on insurance, you would end out ahead. But I can understand, if you're sending something that's a high value piece, you might want to get some insurance. So in that case, you could use something like ShipSaver. There's different programs. I just happen to use ShipSaver. You're able to sync this up with your eBay account, so you can see I have here's the stuff that needs to be shipped out because it's drawing from my eBay account. So let's say I wanted to insure this jersey. I would actually go to here and I would click on the jersey, and I would head up here and I hit purchase label. I'm not actually going to continue through all the whole thing and ship the label, but this is the receiver address, sender address, the weight. I believe the weight was 15 ounces. So I'm going to fill that in. I'm just going to look at this real quick. Sometimes it doesn't populate at all. It doesn't have the country. It does here. Okay. So collapse that. Here's the item total. Shipping and handling 22.33, and then you can hit add insurance. So declared value 72.32. So they include the shipping with the price of the item and the declared value. And so the insurance is actually only $1. So the total cost of postage is $22.33 plus the dollar insured for $23.33. Okay. So that actually, with the amount of money that they paid $24 for their shipping. that actually covers that, I think. Let's go back and look at this real quick. I'm just gonna make sure I'm telling you the right thing. And go to manage all orders, paid and shipped. I'm just gonna do like pretend like I'm printing another label here. Yeah, so they paid $23.50 for their shipping, not 24. And the total cost is $23.33 to you. So because you get a little discount, it actually still costs less to do the shipping on ShipSaver with insurance than what they paid. So again, if it was something, you know, I'm not doing insurance for this, but if it was something that was a super high value item and I was like a little bit worried, you know, I might do insurance through ShipSaver to just to make me feel a little better. And the great thing about ShipSaver is, you know, it is synced up to your eBay account. So once you buy postage through them, it automatically uploads the tracking number. So you don't have to worry about that. So, all right, I'm going to go grab those labels and I will be back to show you what they look like. Okay, so I'm back and I've got my labels printed out. Usually my labels I print with a Zebra thermal printer, but with these, you can't really do that, so you have to just print them out of regular paper. And all you have to do is let's see if I can get this up here. You can see the little spot. Come on, focus. I sign it and I date it, and that's it. You cut this out and you just tape it to your package. It's super, super simple. Now, there are some countries where they do delivery confirmation, and you can see on this label, you can see this little symbol here. See if we can focus. Come on. See that label where it says Express right here? That actually means that they have delivery confirmation. Now I've had countries where it doesn't say that, and both of these it does, but I've had countries where it doesn't say that and they still have delivery confirmation. So, but those are the ones where it definitely does. And so when you see that, you know, you can feel a little better. Now, one thing I will advise, you know, if you ever have an issue where, let's say somebody says they didn't get a package, and you look at the tracking number on the post office website, and it basically will say, like, maybe it says it went through customs and now it's on its way there, but then it just kind of stops, and it's been quite a bit of time. There's a couple things you can do. There are some websites that actually draw from all different postal services from around the world, and you can actually go on those sites, and sometimes they have more information, and I'll put a link to a couple of those down below. One of them is 17track.net. I've used that one a few times, particularly for like packages to Russia. It seems to work well. Also, sometimes, for whatever reason, like I've had packages go to the UK and they don't show anything beyond going through customs through the US post office website. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And then what I've actually done is I go to the Royal Mail website, which is their post office, and I've been able to get the information directly off of their website. And so sometimes you have to take a couple extra steps, but you can use the confirmation on their website to show that something has been delivered, if maybe they're saying they haven't gotten it and you're not sure where it is. So sometimes you do have to do a little bit of extra work, but usually you're able to find the information you need to find and you can get it done. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope that I helped you. If you're having questions about doing international shipping, I'm sorry if it was kind of all over the place, but I think I covered most things. Please, if you have any questions or you have comments, just comment or put them down below and I will try and get back to you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, that's okay. And I will talk to you guys later.